Okay, I don't. Is it start? Is it? Yes, it's recording. Okay, cool. Welcome, welcome back, everyone, to Bonding Time. My name is Hutchinson, David Hutchinson, and these are my Bond enthusiastic co-hosts.
Brendan.
Introduce yourself, guys.
Christopher Greenwich.
Patrick. Ramon Patrick.
And I'm tired, John.
Tired, John. Tired. Okay, so
God,
we
no.
we recently finished watching all of the Roger Moore movies, so we're going to take the opportunity revisit talking about Roger Moore's 7 movies, then kind of look and re-rank where we're at, each of the 4 of us, and just go through and talk up to the 15 movies we've seen so far. All right, so starting with Live and Let Die. So in Live and Let Die, this came out in 1973, directed by Guy Hamilton, who also did Diamonds Are Forever. This one is Roger Moore's first movie, and he goes up against a gangster boss named Mr. Big. And it was also James Bond exploring the blaxploitation genre. So, at the time when we reviewed this and discussed it, it is actually one of the highest ones we've ever ranked. It's currently sitting at a 9. So we can take the opportunity now to kind of reset our rankings. We've only been ranking up to round numbers, so we can do like a 0.5. So John, you gave this a 9. Ramon, you gave it a 10. Chris, you gave it a 9. And I gave it an 8. And it's kind of playing on screen. So you kind of remember the Bond girl was Solitaire. You had Mr. Big. You had he was also the Prime Minister of the Caribbean island, which was made up.
The alligator scene, yeah.
He has the henchman.
This movie had some good action scenes. It was the speedboat chase at the end was really good. This was a really good start for Roger Moore, I think. And the alligator scene, man, come on.
Oh, that was great. I can't believe somebody actually did that for real. This movie, I think this is definitely my favorite Roger Moore movie, man. Great way to start it off. It was just so funny. And he was just so smooth as Bond. And then, as David said, that boat chase scene, that was really good. And it was a long scene, too, that chase scene, but really good boat chase scene.
The only thing I wish it didn't have was J.W. Pepper.
Yeah, that guy, I could have done without him. Just, I don't know, he wasn't that funny. And Solitaire was, whew, gorgeous. Oh my God.
So Ramon, are you sticking with a perfect 10? You still think this movie is a perfect 10?
I still do. Anyone that's watching Bond, I would encourage them to watch this one. And yes, including all other Bonds, this is still definitely my favorite. The action scene, the pacing, how smooth Roger Moore is in it. Like, he's set himself up for his Bond and how he portrays it. Can't argue with it. Still the best Bond to me.
All right, so fair. We're keeping your score at a 10. John, what about you? You're sticking with a 9, or are you gonna move up 9.5?
No, I think 9 is pretty good. It's a really good movie. I mean, there's a lot going on there, but I just remember that movie being super entertaining. And for Roger Moore, me not being a huge Roger Moore fan, that was definitely like coming out swinging. So yeah, good job. So I'll stick with the 9.
Okay, Chris, what about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with a 9. Because if I had to deduct some points from it, J.W. Pepper, I think, was not great. Could have done without that. I think it just made the movie just a bit too silly. I mean, granted, the movie was kind of silly already a little bit, but I think that just was unnecessary. And I think that boat chase scene, even though it was great, I think it was a bit too long, that chase scene. So, yeah, if I had to deduct points, it'd be at least for those minor things. But yeah.
Why do you have to deduct points?
Huh? Oh, I don't have to deduct points, but at least for me, it's not a perfect movie. I don't think it was perfect all around. I think there were just those minor negatives. And then also Solitaire, I don't think like I don't think she was that great of a Bond girl. She wasn't like silly like
I
some
could
of the
take
other
that.
Bond girls we've
I
had.
could take that criticism. Mhm.
I mean, honestly, in the beginning she was good, where she was like, making predictions and working for Mr. Big. But then once Bond turned her to the other, to the good side, it was just really her playing damsel in distress for the rest of the movie, and I just kind of took away from her character. So I think I did, I don't think she was the greatest Bond girl, you know. So maybe I would deduct some minor points there for her as well.
Okay, so you're sticking with the 9.
Yeah.
Okay. For me, I'm gonna raise mine from an 8 to an 8.5.
Thank Jesus.
I mean, I do agree with everything you guys said. One of my key things, though, is I'm not a big fan of the climax. I thought the climax was kind of meh. How he killed Mr. Big was absolutely ridiculous. I think one of the worst moments in the Bond movies, and Roger Moore has a lot of bad moments, which we'll get to shortly. But yeah, that the J.W. Pepper stuff, it just had some stuff that, no. It could have been so good. Like Roger Moore is so smooth. Like I love the scene where he's paragliding and he's smoking a cigar. Like this movie had to be a hit, and the theme song is one of my favorites, "Live and Let Die." Come on, so yeah, definitely an 8.5 for me. Okay, so
Very good. Well,
moving on to the next movie, came out just 1 year after. Same director, same everything. The Man with the Golden Gun. John, we'll start with you because you gave this one of your worst rankings with a 3 out of 10. You currently have this as like your third worst Bond movie.
goddamn.
Are you going to be a little kinder to it now, looking back, or sitting with that 3?
I'm just gonna stick with it because we're looking at this trailer and no, has the trailer started yet?
No,
It's coming up now, yeah.
Here it is. There you
Right, yeah. Yeah,
go. No.
it's fine. Yeah, stay where it is.
All right.
What was it? What was the guy's name? Short Round?
It
Like
was Scaramanga and Knick-Knack were the 2
Knick-Knack,
bad guys.
right?
Yeah.
Short Round was Indiana Jones. Yeah. Man, they just wasted such a great actor on a shitty movie.
It is
So
true.
unfortunate.
You know,
But yeah,
Christopher Lee
it'll
is
stay at a
actually
3.
Ian Fleming's cousin. Small
Oh,
world.
really?
Yeah. I was reading Roger Moore's book. I've been reading it super slow, but he actually met Christopher Lee in the army when they were both in World War II.
Oh, yeah?
Interesting stuff. It's kind of
That's
crazy how
very
small the
odd.
world was back then in terms of actors, because there was so few of them. So
Right.
some of the ones that made it kind of knew each other when they were starting out. Interesting.
Right. Well, you'll find that. You'll find like a lot of actors, singers, and like whatever business you're in. When you're coming up, those are the people that you really like work with.
Yeah.
Coming up together is a big thing. Comedians, I know that's a huge deal.
So the rest of us, John, you were the outlier for this movie. The rest of us gave it a 6. So I'm going to stick with my 6. I'm not going to move it. I didn't think this movie was great. It was honestly very disappointing coming off Live and Let Die. It had some really bad stuff. Had a lot of wasted potential for sure. But it wasn't offensively bad like Diamonds Are Forever, except for maybe the part where he shoves the kid out in the river. That was pretty
Yeah,
bad.
that was pretty
J.W.
awful.
Pepper was still pretty bad. And then that court wheel stunt was bad with the sound effect. Chris, what about you? You gonna stick with your 6?
Mine was a 6?
Yep. That
Yeah.
was such a good stunt. That cartwheel thing.
Oh, yeah, that was nice. Again, what I really liked in this movie was, I like the story, the potential for this. Bond facing off against the world's deadliest assassin. Like, great potential, but I agree they didn't really execute it well. The Bond girl was just absolutely ass.
Who was the Bond girl?
Good night. Good night. She
Oh,
was
right.
she was the
Oh,
definition
Jesus.
of a blonde bimbo. She was terrible.
Yeah.
She was the worst. Yeah.
I mean, no offense
Always
to the
know.
actress. You know, it wasn't her fault. That's just how they asked her to play it. So, and it didn't really have great action. And I don't know if I buy Roger Moore being able to take on a school full of martial artists.
Huh.
But, okay, some old man, you know. Okay, but I think I'm gonna stick with a 6 here. I think I agree with what Dave said. It
You don't want to drop it?
let down.
Sure doesn't want to be a 5?
No, because you know, the villain was really good. So I think I think
The actor
villain
was really good. The actor was really good. I'm surprised that he was able to pull off so much with what a shitty movie it is.
Yeah, I think he kind of carries it. He kind of carries it to a 6 for me. He's really that good.
He carries it to a 6 for you.
Yeah, because I think that's what I said last time. So yeah,
See, this movie still has some iconic stuff for me, which keeps it at a 6. Ramon, what about you? What are you? You're leaving yours at a 6 or up or down for you?
Yeah, because I did think it was entertaining. And I once again love the idea of it. Execution wasn't great, and it suffered, but it was entertaining. So I'll give it a 6 though.
Okay. All right. So no change there. Moving on to 1977, The Spy Who Loved Me. This was when Harry Saltzman and Albert Broccoli parted ways. So the first movie that Broccoli did. So this was kind of like a movie that had to succeed. They kind of took the time to make it right. So 3 years in between movies from Man with the Golden Gun, because Man with the Golden Gun didn't do too well. So we're not alone in thinking that. So Spy Who Loved Me, John gave it a 7. Ramon, you gave it an 8. Chris, you gave it an 8, and I gave it a 9. It's one of my favorite Roger Moore's. I think it is when Roger Moore put his stamp on his James Bond and really made it his own.
That's it.
Ramon, what are your thoughts? Are you gonna stick with the 8 with this one?
Oh, I'm definitely sticking with this one. I did thoroughly enjoy this one. Well, I did really enjoy it. I will agree, Bond did put a stamp on it, but I wouldn't say this was the one that he did it. I would say it's very, very close. I would say it's the one right after, but we'll get into it.
Okay. Chris, what about you? You gave this a 8 as well.
yeah, I think I'll stick with an 8. Very strong entry. The Bond girl Anya, she was a great, you know, a great woman to play across from Bond. You know, she challenged him all throughout the movie. And you love to see that. I love to see that. You know, she wasn't just completely taken up with Bond and, oh, James, anything you want me to do, I'll do. So strong, independent Bond girl, that's a plus. I didn't like the villain. Was it Carl was his name or something like that?
Carl Stromberg, I think.
Carl Stromberg. He was underwhelming, forgettable because I don't even remember him now. And then him having like this lair on the water, like that was a little silly, but it's a Bond movie, so okay. And Jaws. Now Jaws started out really well. I thought, you know, serious, imposing character, and especially that train scene like this. Man, that was a really good fight because you really thought Bond was in trouble there. It was like,
yeah, when Anya opens up the closet and Jaws is just there. Oh damn!
I know.
And the Lotus. Sorry, the Lotus just came on screen. This car scene was amazing. I love this car scene. For me, it's still one of the best car chase scenes in the franchise. It's so good.
Yeah. I think they just made Jaws kind of silly in the end, and so that he had potential, but I still had a problem with Jaws. Just how they.
Yeah. So you're standing by your 8.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with an 8.
All right, John. What about you? You gave it a 7.
Yeah, I think 7's fine. It's pretty decent rating. I obviously didn't like it as much as you guys, but it wasn't as bad as the last piece of turd that they put out. So I mean, yeah, it was alright. So I think 7's good enough. If anything, I'll lower it a little bit. But
Theme song really good, no? I think too.
Huh?
Theme song is really good, I think.
Nobody
pretty-
does it better.
yeah, I think it was decent. But again, like I'm not gonna rate a whole movie based off of the song, and it was an okay movie. So 7's fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with my 9. I was thinking about raising it, but I am gonna leave it as a 9. Yeah, I thought this movie was good. It's kind of like where the previous two James Bond was, experimenting with other genres, with blaxploitation, kung fu. This movie, they brought back a lot of the James Bond traditions and referenced Tracy, which I always like. I like when they do that, when they have little mentions of what has come before. He was bat drinking vodka martinis, so yeah, I liked that a lot. So I'm sticking with the 9. I thought it was amazing. The thing that was missing the most for this was Stromberg. He was just a meh villain, but other than that, really good. Going on to 2 years later, same director, Lewis Gilbert. To be honest, the same kind of plot. Except now it's bigger and better. It's in space. 1979's Moonraker, where they literally go to space and Jaws becomes the Wile E. Coyote. Ramon, since you love this movie so much, I'll let you start things off. Who gave it a 9, sir? Are you sticking
give it a 9.
with the 9?
Oh, a 9.
You know what? Originally, I'd rated a 9 because John hated this movie so much, but I was the exact opposite. I really, 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 really did enjoy this movie. To me, this is the second strongest Bond girl that they have.
Oh right, yeah, I remember that.
Because Dr. Goodhead,
Holly Goodhead.
looks amazing, intelligent, ran her own operation the whole way through. I thought Bond was along for the ride. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And this one, Bond wasn't the center of attention, and I actually enjoyed it. Yeah,
Okay.
Everything about this, including the silly moments and how they're placed. I was gonna give it an 8.5, but now I taught myself to 9 again.
So Ramon, just to be clear, you have this as one of your top 3 Bond movies so far. Like for you, Moonraker, of all the movies we watched up to this point, Moonraker is in your top 3. You're standing by that.
All right, maybe an 8.5. 8.5 it is.
Don't let me talk you down. If you're gonna stand by it, stand by it.
Yeah, you should
Totally enjoy it. I would actually watch this over again. Comfortably.
All right, I'll leave it at a
8.5
9.
though. But 8.5, I'll watch a 6 movie over again. Like just rewatchability doesn't. I get it does count for something, but
This was not a 6
8.5
movie for you, John. I'll tell you what. We'll play a game. Do you remember what you ranked this movie?
No, I don't. Because I was actually he was talking and I was like, I feel like if I gave this a 3,
No,
I feel like
no,
very
you did not.
easily
This
give this a
this is
You
your
hated this.
worst. This
Yeah.
is your least liked movie of the bunch according to your rankings.
Don't
You-
So
know
I gave it
why.
a 2.
Yes, you did.
Oh, it's
You-
funny because like Ramon is talking and I'm like, I can drop this a little bit lower, but 2 is pretty low.
The fact
Give
that
this-
Jaws had a love story is just
To give
terrible.
this movie
It was
a
also really good
1.5
too.
To give that's
The lines were
definitely
on
not-
point in this. Like, nah.
No,
I really
no.
didn't
She
know.
looked like
You
an
went-
idiot.
You mean when
He-
Jaws has
he-
the Barry White voice? It's like, here's to us, baby. You remember that? And then he pops the champagne with his mouth.
You
The
know
best
what,
line of this
Ramon?
movie was at the end when Q says, "I think he's attempting re-entry, sir."
The lines were up. Yeah, no. I think this may be the 9 because I really did think like Roger Moore. They find a bond in this, and I love the pacing. Yeah, this was the first one that I thoroughly enjoyed the pacing and how they did it.
So you're giving it a 9 or 8.5 on one.
You know what? Screw it. 9. I think they nailed this formula for me. So that's a 9. Top 3.
All right. And John, you're sticking with your 2?
No, it's gonna go to a 1.5. No.
Oh
Are
my
you-
gosh.
What?
You already have it as your lowest. Why lower it more?
Because it's
And
just
you've already said you want to rewatch it
because
with,
you know what?
with Ramon.
Because Ramon lowered his, and I was perfectly fine with that. I was like, all right, cool. I won't touch it.
I
You know
didn't
what?
lower mine actually. I just
No,
kept
but
it
that's
where
the
it
reason
was.
why. That's the reason why you didn't lower yours. So I feel the need to like to level it off.
Oh my
All
God.
right.
Put it where it really deserves to be.
So John is going down to 1.5. Chris, you gave it a 6.
Really?
Are you sticking with the 6, Chris?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Roger Moore was good in this one. I'm trying to think, did he even have a bad Bond? But he was good in this one. The Bond girl was good. She wasn't memorable though. I mean, I want to see more Bond girls like this. You know, independent, have their own storyline, like helping Bond. But I think at this point, you know, it was getting to the point where we'd seen that quite a bit before, so she didn't stand out as much to me. But I agree, she was one of the strongest Bond girls. I think for me, what killed it was that the movie got a bit too silly at times. So that's kind of why I'm knocking it down to a 6. Like the space battle with lasers and Jaws. Most of Jaws' scenes were just the suspension of disbelief was just, it just stretches your suspension of disbelief too far. So I think if you took Jaws out and maybe you take that space battle scene out, it's actually a decent Bond movie with a decent
agree.
story.
Yeah, Jaws really did weigh it down. But
Yeah. I think for
Yeah.
me, I remember when I was watching it, I was surprised it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Like for the first part of the movie, it does
Yeah.
have. I mean, the stunt at the beginning is amazing with the skydiving scene. So I thought it started off really strong, but it was super silly with the Jaws and the gondola scene, the double taking pigeon, the ninja. It was just
Oh, yeah.
just a mess in terms of theme. Like they didn't know. It became a parody of itself. Whereas The Spy Who Loved Me, I thought was a good balance. It balanced well. So yeah, I'm gonna stay with a 6. I honestly don't know if I like this more than The Man with the Golden Gun or not. I think I like it a little bit more, so I'll keep it at the same ranking of the 2. So 2 years
wait,
later,
you rated it a 2?
no, I rated it a 6.
No.
Oh,
So next up on the list was For Your Eyes Only. This was another director change. So it changed hands from Lewis Gilbert to John Glenn. This was in 1981, the first Bond movie of the 80s, and there were quite a few of those. It had kind of went back to basics. One of Roger Moore's more down to earth James Bonds. I absolutely loved this movie. I thought it was amazing. From the Bond girl to the locations, the pacing was really good. You saw Bond, Roger Moore play Bond kind of more aggressive than he's used to. He still had some good lines. And despite there not being like a really good, memorable villain, the plot twist, I think the reason why the villain wasn't memorable kind of plays to the movie's strengths. So even though villain, I wouldn't rank like this villain as being, honestly, I can't even remember the guy's name, which I think is good. If I watch this movie in 10 years, I'll probably forget the plot twist again. I think that's one of the reasons why I would rewatch this movie and enjoy it just as much. Yeah,
because
I thought
it
this
wasn't
movie
wasn't memorable.
So,
yeah, but I'll tell you a couple things that I
It was
will
so forgettable. It will be so
definitely
forgettable.
remember.
I can just remember. I just next time I watch it, I won't remember it again, so it'll be okay.
I'll always remember the car chase scene in the Yellow Beetle. I remember the ski chase scene. That was amazing. I remember the diving and the Bond girl. So it is still memorable, in my opinion. So I'm sticking with a 9. It's one of my favorite Roger Moores. It might be my favorite Roger Moore. John, switching over to you because you also gave this a 9 based on your rankings. Actually, you had put this as your number 1 James Bond movie of all. So you actually had this higher than On Her Majesty's Secret Service and Live and Let Die. Are you sticking with that?
I'm actually sticking with it because that's the funny thing about what you just said is I really like this movie. If there's one movie that I would actually might even give it a little bit higher is this one. There are so many things about this movie that resonated with me, and I really like the Bond girl. It's a really good film of all of them. Like this one, I really enjoyed this. I'll stick with the 9 for now, though.
Okay. Chris, what about you? You gave this an 8. Are you sticking with the 8? Oh, that cliff climbing scene where he dropped, that was friggin' amazing.
That was intense.
Some of these stunts that they did, man, were just crazy.
I think I'll give this an 8.5. Actually, I'll raise it up.
Yeah. That's what's up.
Yeah, I agree with all of what you guys said. I think the Bond girl, Melina, I think she kind of suffers from what Holly Goodhead suffers from in the previous movie. Like, at this point, we have so many Bond movies in. Like, she's a strong Bond girl, great, but I don't know if I would remember her, honestly. If I haven't watched this movie in a while, I don't think I would remember her. So,
Right.
I don't know how you really fix that. You know, it's probably just how it is.
I think, honestly, I don't think it's a thing that you can fix so much as she just doesn't resonate with you. You know, she's for you, she's a strong Bond girl, but she does just fit that format. So,
Yeah.
in a sense, she's a little bit stereotypical. She doesn't rise above, but
Yeah.
she gets the job done. So,
Which is good. And so I think I agree with you guys. Great story, grounded. Roger Moore is great in it. I still have a problem with the ending. I think it's a little bit anticlimactic with Bond just throwing the device off the cliff. But I understand, you know, your guys' arguments of, you know, why it's actually a pretty good ending. So I still view it as anticlimactic. So I take some points off there for that. But I raise it up 8.5.
right on.
All right, Ramon, going over to you. You gave it a 6, definitely the outlier of the group. Are you going to make any adjustments, sir?
Here's the problem. I rated 6 because John rated Moonraker so low.
This is not how you rank movies, guys.
This is fair.
I did enjoy
This
this,
is fair.
but I can't watch this movie anymore and not be mad. So 5.
Oh my gosh. Okay,
That's so good.
No, but like
Ramon is dropping it to a 5.
Why are you dropping it?
no, it had a lot of flaws for me, and you guys were saying it was grounded, and
Right.
I just thought this was. We've complained that like some of the Bond movies seemed like filler. This definitely was one. It was just such a small stakes kind of situation. It was like.
That can be.
At no point was I.
If you think about it, most of the Daniel Craig movies up to this point have been very low stakes, but we'll get to that in a future talk. So, Ramon, you're actually lowering this to a 5.
I did fall asleep in this one. This is the one that I couldn't get through without falling asleep.
Okay. All right. So Ramon is dropping his to a 5.
So
Which, by the way,
this?
Ramon, can I just mention to you that you putting this as a 5 makes it your second least favorite Bond movie so far. But we'll get to that shortly.
It's not because you actually dislike the movie. It's just because you don't dislike my ratings of other movies. I love it.
Yeah, that's...
You know
No,
the
but
best part
because
about
of that, I know this like this so much more.
You know what the funniest part about this? I love this. In this whole thing, you would think that me and Dave would argue the most.
I know.
Me and Dave
It's been me and Don.
concur a lot. We agree a lot. Me and Ramon, oh my god, we can't agree on shit. He like loves a movie. I hate a movie. I love a movie. He hates the movie. But I think that's really important because they show you the versatility of these Bond movies, and I like that movie because it for me it was very grounded, and there were things that resonated for me, and it reminded me of a very good spy movie, not like an over the top we're shooting someone into space movie, but like a good believable spy movie, and I love that. All the things that you guys have a problem with are things that I enjoy, and that just shows you a franchise that has been here for so long has to have versatility. It's spy movies. They didn't like break into all of a sudden. Well, he did do the horseback riding thing for a little bit, but it's not like you have to change it up. You have to give the audience different things. So it's okay, Ramon. I still love you.
All right.
I
So
understand where you're coming from.
I reserve judgment, but yeah.
moving on to 1983, same director, John Glenn, Octopussy. Ron, I'll start with you on this one. You gave this the highest of the bunch with an 8. Do you stand by that, sir?
I definitely stand by this. I love the villain. I love Bond's banter with all 3 villains, including Octopussy. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this. The wit in it, the lines, how smooth Bond was, the Bond girls, on point. Yeah, I can't argue with it. I'm still sticking with the.
Sticking with the 8. Okay. Chris, you and I both gave this a 7. What say you? Up or down? Or staying the same?
I'm gonna keep this at a 7. This was more of like middle of the road Bond, I think. I don't think this is God tier. I agree with Ramon. The villain is great. Or well, we have 3 villains. I guess the villain I'm talking about is who was the Afghanistan prince? What was his name?
His name was Kamal.
Kamal. Kamal was great, man. It had a really good dialogue between him and Bond, good back and forth. Octopussy I think, was a really good Bond girl. I think the story was very intriguing. Kind of like Cold War-esque type thing. Was it? I don't know.
Yeah,
Well, it did
have
have the rogue Russian KGB guy. Yeah, that was going kind of crazy, and then got killed off on the train. So yeah.
Right. And I think I stick at a 7. I think it's just really middle of the road. I don't think anything in here carries this. Very good henchman, I have to agree. I think David really liked the henchman in this, and I think I agree. Gobinder was really good. But I keep it at 7. Stick at a 7.
Yep. I'm going to raise mine slightly to a 7.5. Just because I really enjoyed certain parts of it. When he was playing backgammon with Kamal, I thought that was great. I loved Gobinder. Thought he was like an odd job. But it did have still some very silly moments in it that have just carried on in Roger Moore's Bond. But I mean, I don't know what it is. Roger Moore's movies had some of the most amazing stunts. The final scene where they're on the airplane fighting on top of the plane, that's just insane that people did that. So yeah, I think it's worth a slight nudge to a 7.5. John, you gave it a 6. Are you going to stick with that?
Nah, I'm gonna raise it. I think this movie isn't getting a little distance from it. It's a little bit better. I'll give it a 6.5.
Okay. All right, so on to the last of the Roger Moore movies where we left off. Definitely not saving the best for last here. View to a Kill. Roger Moore was looking definitely his age in this one. This movie came out in 1985. At this point, he had been playing the role for over 12 years. Fun fact, Daniel Craig has been playing the role longer than that in terms of age, in terms of length of how many years he was James Bond. But yeah, he was definitely showing it here. I gave this a 4. I stand by that 4. I just thought there was too many ridiculous moments. Christopher Walken was good, but underutilized. Grace Jones was good. That scene just now that just showed with the guy dying with a butterfly to the cheek. I mean, are you kidding me? That's on the same level as Diamonds Are Forever, where the guy does because of a scorpion. I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. So this cannot go any higher than a 4 for me. This is definitely Roger Moore's worst.
Sure, you don't want to drop it to 3.5?
No, because I don't think it's as bad as Diamonds. So I don't think any Bond movie technically is bad per se. It's just, yeah, not good. This wasn't good. So John, go to you. You, fun fact, actually gave it the highest score out of all of us. You gave it a 6.
Right.
Are you gonna raise it or lower it?
That 6 was based solely on Grace Jones. I loved her so much in this movie. She stole the movie for me. It wasn't as bad as as this trailer makes it out to be. There were some entertaining points in it. And that's a tough one. I'll just leave it where it is.
Okay. So
Yeah,
you're sticking with a 6.
I'm
Ramon
sticking
and
with the
Chris,
6.
you both gave it a 5. I was actually surprised with Ramon's rating of this. Having given Moonraker a 9, I was surprised he gave this a 5. Ramon, are you going to revisit that rating?
I think it stays. The reason I gave Moonraker a 9 was because I thought its pacing, and they figured out the perfect Bond formula. One of the perfect Bond formulas to me. They need to have the wit in between and the campiness to when there's a low, you fill it with something, and camp or wit always works for me. This one, it didn't have it. Not to the level of Moonraker, and it suffered for it. The truth is, supporting actors to me carried this movie.
Yeah,
Definitely
sure.
Grace Jones, definitely Christopher Walken as the villain. Great. Aside from that, it didn't carry it. And a reason it also weighed on me more is because I look back and this is, I guess the Bond girls tend to start to repeat themselves. And
Right.
this Bond girl was just like the worst version of Dr. Goodhead to me, an intelligent scholar who could do nothing for himself.
Right.
So I'm sticking with that 5.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with a 5 too. I agree. I agree with Ramon. I think the villain and the henchman definitely carry this movie. Grace Jones and Christopher Walken were excellent. Love them. I think I agree with Dave. I think I just had a few too many silly moments. So, that's why I knock it down to 5. I think it just was a bit too campy at times. And then it kind of lulled in the middle too, where Bond, kind of gets to know the main Bond girl, kind of reveals himself to her. They end up at her mansion and they stay there for like, the movie kind of stays in that setting for like a while. And it just kind of gets boring for a little while. But it had some decent action. But it gets a little too campy at times. So, but the theme song, that's another thing that saves this movie from being a lower ranking for me. The theme song is great. View to a Kill. Duran Duran. Well fucking done. One of my favorites in the series.
It was a boss theme song. Definitely one of my favorites too, for sure. All right. So, with that being said, I'm just going to tally up where we're at. So, just the Roger Moores, the way it is looking, Live and Let Die is number 1. The Spy Who Loved, number 1 with a 9.1. Number 2 is The Spy Who Loved Me with an 8. For Your Eyes Only, not far behind with a 7.9. Octopussy comes next with a 7.3. And then we're down with 3 5s. Moonraker is 5.6. Man with the Golden Gun is 5.3. And A View to a Kill is a 5. Any disagreements with that ranking, or everyone's kind of on the same page? I know Ramon disagrees with the Moonraker for sure, but I think Moonraker's spot is quite good considering.
Maybe I'd put Man with the Golden Gun above View to a Kill. Maybe.
All right, well, now what we're going to do is kind of go through each individual rankings in terms of literal rankings and see where things place. So, Ramon, we'll start with you. On Her Majesty's Secret Service is still your number one. If you look at the 9s you have tens. You have On Her Majesty's Secret Service a 10. You have Live and Let Die as a 10. I won't remind you which one you have first. So which one would you rank above the other?
Still really do enjoy A View to a Kill. I will say that is actually the movie that I would recommend to somebody whenever watching Bond for the first time.
Which one? Live and Let Die?
Not Live and Let Die. View to a Kill.
No, we're on your 2 10s. On Her Majesty's or Live and Let Die.
Sorry, On Her Majesty's, right.
So that's still your
On
number
Her
one.
Majesty's, I'll still keep it as my number one. Live and Let Die is the second recommendation.
All right. Going on to your 9s, you gave Goldfinger a 9. You gave Moonraker a 9. Which one is tiebreaker between the two?
Goldfinger. Goldfinger, definitely.
Goldfinger.
Would be Moonraker if Jaws wasn't a little bit too campy, but
Okay.
definitely Goldfinger.
Well, at least that puts Moonraker out of your top 3. So then after Moonraker, you only have one 8.5. That's Dr. No. And then you go into your 8s. You have From Russia with Love, The Spy Who Loved Me, and Octopussy.
Shit, that's a Spy Who Loved Me. Octopussy. From Russia with Love, The Spy Who Loved Me, and then Octopussy.
See, that surprises me after how you just praised Octopussy.
Russia with Love, really? Wow.
All right.
No one that hates that movie.
Yeah.
I actually like the movie, but for me, it's I can say it's it. I like it. I do like it more than those. I was more entertained.
So after those, you have a single 7, which is You Only Live Twice. Then you have some 6s, Thunderball, The Man with the Golden Gun. Those are the 2. And you used to have another 6, but then you lowered it to a 5. So Thunderball and Man with a Golden Gun, how do you rank those 2?
Man with the Golden Gun, then Thunderball.
Really? Man, Thunderball is getting no love.
Yeah, son.
All right. So then on to your 5s. A View to a Kill is a 5. For Your Eyes Only is a 5. Do I even have to ask which one comes first?
Your Eyes Only, and then
Okay.
take it.
All right.
Wow. Okay. Cool, cool.
Ah, all right. Well, at least it beat A View to a Kill. And then bringing up the rare end for you, Ramon, is Diamonds Are Forever. So your top 5 so far is On Her Majesty's, Live and Let Die, Goldfinger, Moonraker, and Dr. No.
Mhm.
Switching over to you, Chris.
All right.
You don't have any 10s. You have no 9.5s. So starting with your 9s, you have Dr. No at a 9, From Russia with Love at a 9, On Her Majesty's, Live and Let Die. Those are your 4 9s. How do you rank?
On Her Majesty's first. From Russia with Love second. Live and Let Die. Probably Doctor No third, and then Live and Let Die fourth.
Okay.
Really?
Interesting.
Doctor No's pretty good. Doctor No's pretty good.
So then going to your 8.5s, you have two. Goldfinger and For Your Eyes Only.
Yeah, Goldfinger because it's just so iconic. So Goldfinger first, For Your Eyes Only second.
And then you had some 8s. You have... Actually, you only have 1 8. The Spy Who Loved Me. So I guess that comes next. And then you have one 7.5, which is Thunderball. Nice to see Thunderball. I mean, it's kind of in the middle of the road for you, but I mean, it's still better than Rahman. All right, then you got a couple 7s. You have You Only Live Twice and Octopussy.
I would gotta put Octopussy first because You Only Live Twice, man. That was. I still think that was a little bit too silly, man. That volcano over there. Yeah, man.
I full-heartedly agree with you. Next, you have The Man with the Golden Gun and Moonraker, both 6s.
Fuck. That's a toughie. Ooh, I think, oh my god, I think I gotta put I don't know. I'm gonna have to push Moonraker above. Even though it was silly as hell, I gotta push Moonraker and then Man with the Golden Gun because Man with the Golden Gun was just a bit of a letdown. Not really good action. I mean, it really only had a good villain. That was like maybe the one great thing about it.
All right, and then bringing down the rare end again is A View to a Kill with a 5, and Diamonds Are Forever, you gave that a 3.
Yep. Staying with that.
So I'll go through my list now. I have 3 9s. Sorry, I have 4 9s. Okay. I have From Russia with Love, On Her Majesty's, The Spy Who Loved Me, and For Your Eyes Only. I'm sticking with From Russia with Love. Still holding on to that number 1 spot. I still love that movie. I'm glad I'm talking about it before John gets back because he'll rag on me with that train scene. Why are they on the goddamn train?
Just get off the train.
Yeah, just get off the train, man. But I love the train scene. It's my favorite. It's probably my favorite part of the movie. It's funny because if I had to show one Sean Connery movie to someone, it would either be From Russia with Love, Goldfinger, or Thunderball. I think I enjoy From Russia with Love the most, but I think maybe Goldfinger's more iconic. I don't know.
Yeah.
So for me, From Russia with Love is still number 1. On Her Majesty's still number 2. Then For Your Eyes Only is 3. And The Spy Who Loved Me is 4. Okay. Which is funny because I'm surprised. For Your Eyes Only for me still beats out The Spy Who Loved Me. It's just kind of a pacing thing. Misdirection in terms of the plot. Like they show you the Lotus, and I was expecting another bomb-ass car chase like in The Spy Who Loved Me. And they give it to me, but they don't give it to me the way I expect. They make him drive like a broken down yellow lemon of a car. For Your Eyes Only is just, it's more amazing given the context of the 7 movies it's part of in Roger Moore's era. It just stands out. Like that could be a movie that came out this year with Daniel Craig playing that Bond. It just showed Roger Moore's versatility, I think. Okay. So then going on next on my list, Dr. No and Live and Let Die, both are 8.5s. That is tough, man. I'm going to stick with Dr. No above Live and Let Die, though. I was surprised how much I liked Dr. No when I watched that.
Yeah.
Live and Let Die, I love, though.
Yeah.
But I'm going to stick with that.
I love Live and Let Die, too. I agree.
I only have 1 8, which is Thunderball. So that stays where it is. Goldfinger and Octopussy are both 7.5s. I definitely.
Wow.
My problems with Goldfinger, I still would rank that above Octopussy. I just think it's more iconic. Octopussy is getting to that point where it's almost filler. Like if I had to list the essential Bond movies, I'm not sure Octopussy would be on it. So Goldfinger definitely beats Octopussy. Then I have some 7s. You Only Live Twice. That stays where it is. Then Moonraker as a 6. Man with the Golden Gun is a 6.
What would you put above? What would you put first?
Moonraker. It's kind of weird though, because looking back on it now, I feel like I look back on it and Man with the Golden Gun feels better. But when I was watching it,
Yeah.
I enjoyed Moonraker more, which is weird. I don't know what it is about that. Because Man with the Golden Gun should be better. It has Scaramanga, it has the Golden Gun, has some good lines.
That's it.
Actually, you know what? I will put it higher. It's extremely close, but I'll put it higher. But I think for some reason when I was watching it, Moonraker didn't seem as bad, but that might have been because my expectations were lower. So I don't know. And then at the bottom, for sure, A View to a Kill, Diamonds Are Forever, the 2 worst Bond movies so far. They're both 4s for me. They're both pieces of Bond crap. Not like
It wasn't that bad.
super terrible, but in the context of James Bond, they were bad. So, John, over to you. So your top movies with the 9s, you have Dr. No, On Her Majesty's Secret Service, Live and Let Die, and For Your Eyes Only. Those are your 4 9s. How do you rank those 4?
That's gonna be really tough. Dr. No's a 9.
Yeah.
Do I have to rank them 1, 2, 3, 4?
Yeah, because we have to have an order under your name. Right now, I can tell you what the order is if that makes it easy. If you don't want to make any
give
changes.
me the order right now. Yeah.
Right now, you have For Your Eyes Only as number 1, On Her Majesty's number 2, Live and Let Die 3, and Dr. No 4. Interesting that you have 2 Roger Moores in your top 3, by the way.
Yeah, I know. It's what was number 3?
Live and Let Die.
Live and Let Die, and number 4 was Dr. No.
Yeah.
I'll change that order. So Dr. No, and then Live and Let Die.
All right.
Yeah.
So then, wow, this is interesting. You go from 9s to having no 8.5s and no 8s.
Mm-hmm.
So then the
Sounds
next,
right.
the next highest rating you've given is 7.5s, and you have 3. Goldfinger, Thunderball, You Only Live Twice, and that is the order they come.
Goldfinger, Thunderball, You Only Live Twice.
Yeah.
So we'll switch the You Only Live Twice to an 8.
Interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that means You Only Live Twice is number 5 for you. And then Goldfinger and Thunderball.
Sure.
That is surprising.
Yeah.
Because I know you think You Only Live Twice is just a good, bad movie. So moving on, then you have The Spy Who Loved Me at a 7. So that comes under Thunderball. You have 2 6.5s From Russia with Love and Octopussy. Any movement there?
Octopussy over From Russia with Love.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
Yeah.
No love for From Russia with Love. From Russia with
You're lucky
Love.
that it's still there. It can definitely get knocked down a little bit more if you want.
Are you crazy?
No, it's
That's
very
not poke.
easy.
That's not poke the bear, Chris. We've seen how these ratings change and the reasoning behind them. So after that, you have A View to a Kill at 6. So that stands on its own. Then you have Man with the Golden Gun with a 3. Diamonds Are Forever with a 3. And then this is my favorite. Moonraker with a 1.5. The lowest rating that anyone's ever given a Bond movie
Now you're just
in these
being spiteful.
discussions.
Yeah.
Being spiteful.
Nah, Moonraker can be a 2 again. It's fine.
Wow.
All right, so we'll just go through our top 3 movies real quick. Ramon, you're On Her Majesty's, Live and Let Die, Goldfinger. I'm From Russia with Love, On Her Majesty's, and For Your Eyes Only. John, you're For Your Eyes Only, On Her Majesty's, and Dr. No. And Chris, you're On Her Majesty's, From Russia with Love, and Dr. No. So interesting fact, the only movie that is in all 4 of our top 3s is On Her Majesty's Secret Service,
Yeah.
which I think is interesting.
Deserved.
It is.
Well deserved.
Also interesting that Live and Let Die is only in Ramon's. And
I know, we all love this movie.
yeah, interesting. All right, so the way the overall rankings are facing now, we'll start from the bottom. The lowest ranked is Diamonds Are Forever with a 3.3, holding up the rear. Next up,
You rate Moonraker worse than Diamonds Are Forever.
no, yeah, oh yeah, to John, yeah. Yeah. So, John, you ranked it below average. The average is 3.3, and you ranked it below that. That's hilarious.
Being spiteful now.
All right, so Diamonds is last. Next up comes A View to a Kill, holding up an average of 5. Solid. It's a nice average. Diamonds Are Forever was just offensively bad, apparently.
Yeah.
So after that, we have Man with the Golden Gun with a 5.3. Then Moonraker comes up with a 5.8. Now we're into the good stuff. Octopussy is next. Well, actually, no, we have a 3-way tiebreaker, actually.
What is
Just
it?
saw this. Octopussy, You Only Live Twice, and Thunderball are all 7.3. So if I look at the rankings we just went through, Ramon, you have Octopussy higher than You Only Live Twice, and Thunderball. I have Thunderball higher than Octopussy, You Only Live Twice. John has Thunderball, Octopussy. No, John has You Only Live Twice. Yeah, this is gonna be interesting. I don't know how to break this up. How do we break this tiebreaker? Is someone gonna change their ratings?
I mean, I would send Thunderball higher. I mean, I think Thunderball is higher than those 2 movies. So I would even send my rating higher if that's what needs to be done.
I would put Thunderball higher too, simply because I don't think it's as good as Live and Let Die, but it's damn close. So for me, I'll raise mine to an 8.5 for Thunderball. And Chris, you're gonna raise yours to an 8. You were at 7.
Yeah, is that 7.5?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll kick it up to an 8. Because I think it's definitely better than those other 2.
So if you put it up to an 8, do you put it higher than The Spy Who Loved Me? Or,
No.
So still below The Spy Who Loved Me.
Yes.
All right, so Thunderball beats, but we still have a tiebreaker between You Only Live Twice and Octopussy. You Only Live Twice has an 8 and 3 7s. John, you're the 8 because you just raised it. Ramon, Chris, and me both gave it a 7. Is anyone going to adjust their rating?
Nah, not on them. I think I'm cool with those.
What's Octopussy? What did I rate Octopussy?
You gave it a 6.5.
I can raise Octopussy.
Well, actually, you know what? Chris, you gave both of those a 7. So you should be the tiebreaker.
Oh, okay. Octopussy and You Only Live Twice?
Yeah, which one is better?
Octopussy.
Octopussy.
I'll raise it to 7.5.
All right. And that doesn't change your ranking in terms of your list at all. All right. So then that means that coming up at number 10 is You Only Live Twice with 7.3. Then Octopussy, 7.4. Thunderball, 7.5.
Damn. Oh my god.
And it's a close race there. Then last of the sevens, we have this For Your Eyes Only with a 7.9.
Ah.
And then going into the good stuff, into the
God,
eights, The Spy Who Loved Me is a solid 8. Then we have a tiebreaker, 2 8.1s. Oh my gosh, I know already which one is going down. John, I hate you.
From Russia with Love?
It's Goldfinger From Russia with Love, and I know John is going to lower his rating
Man.
of From Russia with Love. You bastard. I'm not even gonna ask. I know. So John, your rating is 6.5, so you're gonna lower it to a 6, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So if you lower that to a 6, though, that puts it on the same level as A View to a Kill. Is it worse than A View to a Kill? Come on, it is not worse than A View to a Kill. You should not take that long to answer that. Come on.
Are you sure?
No,
We need to rewatch Moonraker and From Russia with Love,
From
man.
Russia with Love. Like,
Jeez.
good God, man.
Are you sure? I'm just I don't know. I kind of like A View to a Kill. I think it's lower.
You think From Russia with Love is lower than A View to a Kill?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, actually, so lowering your thing to a 6 actually makes it now tied with The Spy Who Loved Me, which creates another tiebreaker. But I'm going to keep it at 5. We're going to leave it where it is. I'm not going to move it again.
Because you know he's dropping it down even further.
I know. He would drop it to a 5. He would drop it a whole point. So, okay. In your list, John, I'm putting A View to a Kill higher than From Russia with Love. So from Russia with Love is then Goldfinger, 8.1. Then we come to the top 3 bonds. The top 3 bonds are starting from the bottom, 8.8. Doctor No. No surprise there. The first Bond movie did it pretty good. And then the top 2 God tier bonds, the only 9s that have averaged, the only ones we both seem to agree on. Live and Let Die, 9.1. And On Her Majesty's Secret Service holding on to the top spot with a 9.3.
Nice.
George Lazenby. Nobody does it better than George.
Wow.
So on to that, stemming from that point. Now we've seen 3 actors play James Bond. Sean played 6 and then Never Say Never Again, which we'll never speak about again. Roger Moore played it for 7 movies and George had the one off. Who had the best performance as James Bond? Who is James Bond?
Sean Connery, the OG, man. He had the perfect balance of suave, being serious when he had to, even being campy at times. I think he was the perfectly balanced one. I think Roger Moore was I think what Roger Moore did better than Sean was, I think Roger Moore was even a little bit more suave than Sean was, especially with the ladies. And the lines that Roger Moore would drop on these Bond ladies were just like panty droppers, man. So, but I think for me, Roger Moore went a little bit too campy at times, a little bit too much fun. And George Lazenby, I'd have to put him 3rd. He was a really good Bond in his first outing, but I think I wanted to see more movies from him before I could put him above Roger Moore.
Yeah, I I agree full-heartedly with you, Chris. Sean Connery is still the OG in my opinion. He strikes the perfect balance of being the cool guy, but also he can be very humorous too. Roger Moore, I think, was crucial because George, when he came in, he was in the shadow of Sean Connery, and Roger Moore just took Bond in a completely different direction and played Bond his way, which I think is very commendable. But Sean is still, in my opinion, the OG and the best. He's who I think of when I think of James Bond up to
Okay.
this point. So for me, it's definitely Sean, then Roger, then George. No offense to George. I mean, they've all done a really good job. No one has played James Bond bad.
Yeah.
John, what about you?
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, it's the same thing. He's the first one. Dr. No, you know, although it might not be on the top of everybody's list, it's kind of the standard. So
Ramon, is Roger Moore your Bond? Is Roger Moore who you think of as Bond? This is I saved you for last because I'm kind of
I'm the most likely to
expecting
switch.
you to be the one that flips.
Different.
Yeah, this is actually a really hard decision for me. I think Roger Moore just edges it out just because he had to reinvent the role and make himself Bond. Coming second, coming from such a strong performance from Sean Connery, and I think he did it for me. It is very, very, very close, but I think he did it for me. Like he made a stamp. He made himself his Bond that compares with the very first Bond, which once again, John said it. Dalton knows the standard, but I think Roger Moore has surpassed the standard in the majority of his movies to me, and that puts him ahead. So I think Sean is definitely the close second by like the hair. And once again, one movie was amazing, but we need more. We need more to tell.
Yeah.
How could you run?
you know what Ramon said though, it makes a lot of sense because if you're looking at the art, there's 20 years difference between the James Bonds from the beginning and where we are. In terms of the last Roger Moore film, I think it's like it's a little bit more than 20 years, and while
Actually, 35 years.
35 years. Oh, well,
Yeah.
there you go. While 35, I thought the first movie was 1962.
I thought you meant specifically Roger Moore from today. Roger Moore's last movie was 1985.
1962 to 1985, isn't that 23 years?
No, Roger Moore started, his first movie was 1973. So he played it for 12 years.
Right, but I'm saying the Dr. No to View to a Kill.
Oh, Dr. No was 1962, so it would have been 23 years.
3 years. Yeah. So there's a 23 difference in like the movies. I think Sean Connery is the standard. Like Ramon said, I think what he's trying to allude to is that Roger Moore had to make the new standard. He had to be the new Bond. And he did a good job about that. It's just, I think I always go back to Sean Connery. Even if I did enjoy George's movie, obviously, a lot, more than others. And I think Roger Moore, he had some good movies, some really good movies. Watching them back, I didn't hate him as much as I thought I would. But Sean Connery, Dr. No, man, that movie was that was the beginning.
Okay. Another interesting thing is that in each of our top threes, we don't have the same actor in any of them. Actually, no, I take that back. Chris, you have 2 Sean Connerys in your top 3. Everyone else has one from all 3 actors, which just goes to show that, we all 3 of us ranked George last, and 2 of us have George's movie as our number 1. So
I
it just
know.
goes to show,
Once
like
again,
there is
single
no,
movie.
yeah, there is no bad performance thus far. Everyone has been amazing in the role.
Right.
So that kind of wraps things up. Next time we'll be discussing the first Timothy Dalton. Now we're finished with Roger Moore. Moving on to exciting time in James Bond. Will be 1987. Same kind of crew. John Glenn's still the director. We're still in the 80s, but a different actor is taking on the role. Much younger. Timothy Dalton. I'm looking forward to talking about that movie, The Living Daylights. Cool. So until next time, see you
Later.
guys.
Yes.